here. Share. Come on, support this one, man. Get some people in here, something. Got a great guest tonight. Can't wait for y'all to meet her. I'm telling you, you're not going to want to miss out on this conversation. I assure you, the show is getting ready to win. We just want y'all to get on in here, man. Get on in here. Get in here. Hey. Got a wonderful show coming up for you. We're about to go live, about to come on in, about to get this thing going. Checking my folks over here on IG, making sure everybody's good. Checking. What's up, IG Live? I see y'all over there, man. Hey, now, if you want to see the visual of this, I want you to make sure you get over to Best Network on Facebook. If you want to see the visual of this, if not, hang out here and you'll get the audio. Guys, we get ready to get started. Yo, what's good? It's your boy Low, man. And listen, I'm super excited to bring tonight. Man, listen, this guest tonight, y'all know everybody, I tell y'all all the time, the people that I bring on this show is either somebody that has made an impact on my life, somebody that has influenced me, or they are family. Now, tonight, it's a little bit of all three. Now, I want y'all to, make sure you get comfortable, I guess, because I wanted to feel like we having a family discussion, because we are. Now, if you don't know, my guest tonight hails from Dallas, Texas. That's right. I know they've been snowed in right now, but she actually still had the means to show up and, pull up tonight. So I'm going to give you a little bit about who she is. She's a dynamic singer. Her voice has traveled pretty much all around this world. She's graced some of the biggest stages you can even ask for as an artist. And that's not even the best things about her. She's an incredible mom. She has been serving in ministry for, I'm not even going to try to count all the years, but she's touched a lot of lives. She's done a lot of amazing things, including singing for presidents. We're going to get into that a little bit later. But I do want to welcome to the show, and let me make sure I get my ducks in a row here, because I we try to make sure everybody feels welcome. I want to bring to the stage my friend, I call her Boss Lady. Yo, what's up, Boss Lady? Oh, wait a minute. Let me get you in here right. Let me unmute you. Are you there? Let's see if we can get it. Hold on. There we go. You there?
I'm good.
There we go. Let me give you some more claps. Hey. What's good with you?
I'm
Helen all the way from Dallas. Y'all thought out. I see you. Texas repping all day. Now, are y'all thought out? Let's get to what everybody really want to know. Are y'all thought out yet in Texas? What's going on?
We are. I have to say, today was like about 70 some degrees today. I mean, it's amazing. So that just lets you know that God is in full control.
Yeah. Now, hopefully you didn't sustain any major damage or anything like that, right?
No, I didn't. I had electricity on, water was on the whole time. Although it was still cold outside, you could feel it a little bit in the house, but I was good. My brother, unfortunately, he had his pipe burst, and it came from the top floor down into the dining room area. So they're looking for a plumber, to make sure everything goes right. And then some other people from the church too. A lot of them had some pipe bursts, electricity off. But I thank God we were really blessed this time.
Now, real quick before we go into our conversation, I want to take a second to tell everybody that's watching, if you can take $20, $10, whatever you can give, $100, $1,000, man, make sure you donate to Texas. It's a lot of families right now. I've
Mhm.
seen moms, all kind of families in disparity that lost a lot. I'm talking water damage, on top of just everything being, destroyed. So, let's pull together. Let's make sure we help those in need and always be serving other people.
Right.
Now, that's a great segment for you because you are the epitome of what servitude is. Um, I think that was one of the greatest things that I love about you is that you, ever since I've known you now, I told you before, I heard of you before I actually met you.
Okay. Yeah.
And my big brother Bobby Sparks spoke so highly of you. He always talked. You know how Bobby was. Hey, say man, hey, that I'm working on Gaye's record, and Gaye's cold, man. You gotta you gotta meet Gaye, but man, dynamic singer. I play for a lot of people, but Gaye can sing, man.
Oh,
Well,
that is amazing.
yeah, so my other brother Rod, Big Rod, all of them always spoke highly of you. And I heard your voice before I actually met you. And, a lot of times in this industry, you hear things that allows you to um, you hear talent, but you don't know what the people are like.
Hmm.
And because of that, you get a situation where you get disappointed because the personality doesn't necessarily match um, the character of what you expected. And a lot of times, that's the type of situation that I was hoping that I didn't have with you, and thankfully I didn't. And I'm grateful because we you came down. For those who don't know how we met, you end up coming down to work my wife's conference, and you showed up. And a lot of times people only want to do the things that um, they pay for. So a lot of times we bring in artists and guests, and because of that, we end up, seeing situations where they were like, well, you only pay me for 15 minutes. And then they done. Like they care less about what's going on. They care less about what the vibe is. You were not like that. Matter of fact, I think you end up going almost an hour over what was expected of you.
Wow.
And those things to me say a lot about the character of a person. And tonight I want us to talk about, because you have such, and I tell you this all the time, you have such great insight into how to prepare for the stage, regardless of what's in the audience. I'm not talking about the audience. The
Hmm.
audience will always vary, but being prepared for the stage when you get called upon. And one thing that I love is that you always put the mission and the purpose of what lies ahead more than your own, gain. So, like, let's talk about, like, how did you get to that level of being? Like, what was the root and the seed of that in your mindset, in your ability, in your discipline? Like, let's talk about that if you can.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, Mo. And we've been friends ever since. As a matter of fact, I was out looking on YouTube. Remember, you came to Dallas so we could do this worship with Gaye Arbuckle, and I was looking at it out on site, and I went, "Oh my gosh, that was so long ago." So growing up, I remember the day that I wanted to be saved. I was like, I saw this friend of mine at school. She always wore dresses, and I thought, man, I want to be saved. I want to love God like that. And that in my head, I'm so young, thinking
Yeah.
to love God, it's an attire. Didn't even realize and had nothing to do with that. Uh, but I grew up in church, and I didn't have an opportunity to not go to church, so that was not a option at all. Um, so I grew up watching my mother play. I grew up just being at church all the time, and I just loved it all. I loved God. I didn't understand it as a kid what that really meant. You know, now that I'm older, now I take on another responsibility of it. But younger, I just grew up just loving music. I listened to all kinds of music. It wasn't always gospel music. Sometimes I would listen to Shalimar back in the day, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Uh,
Yeah.
and I used to practice looking in the mirror at myself and seeing what I look like. And I just felt like, oh my God, this is really cool.
Yeah.
I practiced all the time. I practiced in the car. I practiced in the house. I practiced at church. You know, I would sit and listen to music all the time. And me and my family, my oldest brother and my mom, we would sit around the piano because a lot of people don't realize that I know how to play. And we'd sit
Yeah.
around the piano and I would play and we would just sing three-part harmony. Beautiful. We just did that was like my heart's desire. So that was already instilled in me a long time ago. And then what I try to express to people is whatever that dream is, whatever that thought is, whatever God is calling you to do, you got to practice. You it's
Yeah.
like praying. You got to practice praying. Nobody just goes hard. Just, oh Lord, when I think about it, that may not be you. What's
Yeah.
you? What's you? And so that was one of the things that I wanted. Music was always in my heart because I grew up in it as a kid. My dad sung too. My mom sung and played. My oldest brother sung. So I was just in a musical family. But for me, I was like, I need this thing to be real to me. And I've
Yeah.
always been serious about it, but I've always wanted to give to others too. So now I'm at a place that when I'm up to sing, I want people to really see the cross. I want people to see um, who Jesus is, not so much about how well someone sings or not how many riffs or runs, but I really want them to go out saying, I really had an encounter with the Lord. I really had an experience. I really want to come back. So even if they don't come down and get saved that day, maybe they'll come back another Sunday and decide, you know what, I'm going to go back and see what that's all about. So it's like a drawing card. So God used me to bring people to know you better. And then I also say this too, Lo, and it's not about just being on that stage there. It's when
Yeah.
I leave and if I'm in any store or I'm in another place has nothing to do with church to still exemplify who Christ really is. And I really mean that. I don't want to be like you say one thing on stage and then when I come off, they like, man, she hard to deal with. She ain't on
Yeah.
time. She don't learn her music. She hollering and fussing at everybody else, but she don't know what she should know. So I hope I answered that. It's
Yeah.
been a hard thing for me.
And I love that because I talk about this all the time. I really appreciate how my parents raised us because I was sharing with Bina earlier. We were talking about how she was mentioning being very, having a desire to really serve and to see people blessed at the lowest levels,
Mm,
to really do work, not the work that is good for you to be seen online, but outside of all that, putting the phones down, doing the things in private that a
yeah,
lot of times we don't, everything now people buy, a homeless man a sandwich, you got a camera out, you want people to know
yeah,
I fed, and it's really just attention getting. But
yeah.
I was telling Mina earlier that one thing that my parents always made sure was that we reverence God. It was necessarily not about being perfect, but if you had the love and reverence for God, like that holds you in times where you may have the opportunity to do things, like you said, to to show up and be late because I know y'all want me to
Hmm.
perform. I know you're gonna wait, and all these things that could boost your flesh or your ego, so to speak. But you deny yourself. I guess that's the best way to say it.
Okay.
Learning to deny yourself that stuff that feeds you and only services you. And I'm glad that you say that, because I really want to make sure that people watching this understand that success. There's two types of success. There's success that grows because other people envy the growth pattern that you're on,
Mm.
and then because of that, they only spectate to see what else you have available to you. And then you have, a lot of times that's overnight success, and then you have success that's just organically grown, and it's because you do the things that need to be done, you service things other than yourself, and you are consistent above all.
Yeah.
So um because I mentioned earlier in your intro, you've been nominated for awards, national awards. You've been on the stages that most people would be satisfied with just gracing one time, and to sing at the feet of sitting presidents or past presidents is something that only very few in the history of this country have ever been able to say they've done. But and all of that, okay, I think we lost you again. Where your mic? Where your mic?
It keeps going in and out. I don't know what's happening.
It's okay. We're gonna make it work.
Okay. Hey, you said something good out when you said about serving. I remember, and then I still try to do this. Even the person that comes to sweep, the person that comes to clean the wall, to clean the bathroom, whatever it is, they're people too. So you don't have to just serve just the people that we call famous, because everybody that's famous could be famous for other reasons, and they
Yeah,
just famous for right now. But the heart of serving people who you'll never probably get a chance to receive back from them is huge. One of the things I try to do is like reach out and text and like, hey, just checking on you today, making sure everything's okay. People appreciate those little things. It's not always like I'm gonna give you some money, or if you do this for me, I'm gonna make sure I put you in front of this person. That's not it. You got
yeah,
people in your neighborhood that need you. You have people who you just pass, they drop something on the floor. Why you can't turn around and help them pick that up? Or
right.
you see somebody trying to get a basket out. Why you can't help them get the basket or loose from the other basket? See, it's those little things. That's ministry too. Ministry
Yeah,
ain't dressing up and, like you said, posting stuff on social media. You don't have to do that. I mean, you could do some things I've done people will never ever know. But if you do it with a heart that says, if God knows that I'm doing it, that's all that matters. I mean,
yeah,
when we really get to a point that we really want to honor God and satisfy Him, and not try to get likes and not try to be friends. I remember back in the day, I used to want to be friends with certain people. And when God finally had me an opportunity to be close to Him, I was uncomfortable because I wasn't supposed to be with them.
yeah,
I thought on the outside looking in, this is great. I can be with them. Oh my God, I'm friends with them. But that wasn't it. He
yeah,
always made me uncomfortable. And he put me around people that had probably less than them that we thought, but they had a heart. They had a heart. So yeah, go ahead. I don't know. I think you want to say
no,
something.
I love that, because here's another gem, and I love talking and having conversations on my podcast like this, because to me, I'm ever learning. And I want people to understand that what you're saying is, just because you think you may desire to be around some people, uh, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're the fit for your purpose and where you're supposed to be.
Right.
Um, I can't help but think about how Jesus was always in a multitude, but he only kept 12. And even in that 12, there was things around him that he had to manage that 12. And a
Hmm.
lot of times we don't understand our circle, even though it may seem small, is enough to keep you managing it. God can't give us the multitude all the time.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like it's unmanageable.
Yeah.
And you hear people talk about fame, you hear people talk about the attention that comes with it. Sometimes I think we misunderstand that just because you're getting attention doesn't mean that those things are good for you.
Right,
A lot
right.
of times, you know what I'm saying? We
Yeah,
look at celebrities, they get together, you think, oh, they got the money, they got the power, they got the influence, and then you find out 1 or 2 years later they get the divorce because they can't figure it out. They can't
mhm,
get exactly what you're saying. Just because we can don't mean we should.
right.
And it's so many things that we should learn just from that alone. And I had to learn that because a lot of times, and we've talked about this at times. I have my gift is people, and
Yeah,
it draws
low.
a lot of attention, and a lot of times my intentions don't align with their motives, and because of that, I had to learn that I have to separate myself.
Yeah,
You can be in something, but not of it,
right.
and because you go in to do one thing doesn't mean that you got to remain there. A lot of times I go in, I do what I got to do, and I extract myself. And then I don't communicate or have a lot of dealings with a lot of those people. A lot of times people, and you know this, people say, "Oh, you know so and so. I saw you on
Mm.
in a picture with so and so. I've been trying to get in touch with them forever and a day." And you like, "Yeah, I was there, but I mean, I
It was
went and did, yeah,
Yeah. You know what? There, I always say is there's a difference between because there's some people that could be jealous, and for those who may be that, think about being inspired by them. So
yeah,
it's like you don't have to do what they do because you're not going to have the same people around you. Your area of perfection may not be the same area that they have, but that's okay too. It's like being a worship leader. I can't be here in Texas and in California and in Nebraska all at the same time. Everybody, it takes all of us to do the work. So whatever
yeah.
the
Oh, we lost. There you go. Come on back.
just be who you are, where you are, and be strong in that. But then take what you know and give it to somebody else. And so whoever that is that's sitting back wondering, I don't know why she's doing that. I mean, be inspired. Just be inspired. If they did it, I can do it too. So I just got to find my lane. I don't want to be like anybody else. One of the things that I used to struggle with when I was younger is because the sound of my voice didn't sound like everybody else's. So I thought, well, shoots, what do I have to render? I mean, I couldn't get it. I did not understand. I just thought I need to do this because everybody seems to be going, yay. And then if I did this, when I did me, it seemed like everybody was quiet. And my mother would tell me, she said, everybody worships differently. So some
Yeah,
people cry, some people rock back and forth, some people shout, some people are just quiet. Because it doesn't mean that you're not doing anything. Then it doesn't mean that just because somebody's yelling that they really doing something. So they can go with anything. You know, if you find out who you are, and that's the thing that we don't always celebrate the person who we are. Who are you? You cannot be anybody. It's enough of them. Just be you. And I had to settle with that because when I younger struggling with self-esteem issues, you know, I used to think I wasn't as pretty as some of my friends. Like all my homeboys, I always wanted to go with my girlfriends. I'm thinking, why are you like them? I'm like, I'm
yeah,
cute too. But so you wrestling with that. So you wrestle with that in other areas in your life. So you don't put it just down because either you're pretty, you go with your singing, you go with whatever gift that you have. So there's a struggle that just keeps happening until you finally decide, you know, I'm done. I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna wear what I
yeah.
want to wear. I'm gonna fix my hair what I want for. If I want to put makeup on, I will. If I don't want to, I won't. Be you.
I love that one, and it goes back to the I named this podcast "The World According to Low," and it's kind of a double sided meaning. It's also a reminder to myself that God put me here to see things the way I see it, to meet people and interact the way I do. A lot of times I was in the same boat. I never really, I was very popular, but I never felt like I really fit in. I always felt like I was different. And, a lot of times we don't understand what's on us and the gifts we have because we're looking across the aisle. We can never truly see ourselves,
Yeah.
which is why I love the fact that you reference the mirror early in our talk, because a lot of times we need to reflect. I've learned that meditating and reflecting and, praying helps me see myself, and it allows me to witness the things that I the perspective that we a lot of times avoid. And I say this because, when you look at the story of Joseph and his coat,
Hmm.
why did Joseph get chosen to wear this coat? They never really go into it. They just said he had favor with the dad. And because of that, the dad gives him a coat of many colors, right? But look at the brothers. Because of Joseph's uniqueness, they unify in a method to get rid of him. Now, listen, if this ain't society and culture, people will unify faster when it comes to removing somebody they
Right.
feel is gifted, or and you wondering why they don't like my posts, why they don't ever support me. They'll
Right.
share all that dumb stuff all day, but when I post stuff and I know it's good, why they don't nobody, you know and you're wearing a coat of purpose. You're
Mm.
wearing a coat of something that makes people identify that you are not the same.
Yeah.
And those the and the thing I love about the story is that if we stay in our purpose, regardless of the pits, regardless of the prisons, regardless of the people we come in contact with, if we will remain who we're meant to be, we will end up in a place that will not only benefit us, it'll still benefit those people that
Yeah.
try to take you out. Now I ain't gonna preach tonight, but that got good to me. I really, because so many people, boss lady, we fall trap to wanting to be. We want to take off the coat just to fit in with the group,
Yeah.
and that's not what we meant to do.
Check this out. My friend was. We were talking one time, and we were talking about people being in the group and being with them. It's like being what did we call it? It was something about being in the clique, and then it's like sometimes you will realize you are the clique.
Yeah,
Want to be in with you, and so we're fighting, trying to do what they do. And it's like they ain't even doing nothing. Ain't
I'm
doing
telling
nothing. But they looking at you, and it again goes back to being inspired by others. I can be inspired by anybody, good, bad, ugly, what to do, what not to do. Don't do that again. All of that
you.
at the
Yeah,
same time. So when you talk about,
come on back.
yeah,
There you go. I don't want to miss nothing.
yeah.
Don't.
So when you talk about, where he was in the pit, it's like some people probably feel like I'm at the pit. There is nowhere else to go. I mean, like I am just totally done. And sometimes in your pit, that's your purpose because God is like, I'm getting you ready and I will not unveil you until you
Yeah,
finish in this spot. So
that's
if
good.
if you're there, just remember trouble don't last always. Eventually you come out. But in that, ask God, what do you want me to learn? What is it that you want me to see in this? Instead of just complaining, I just can't believe. Don't be negative because what comes your mouth, you have power. It's in the power of your tongue. And if you are not in a place where you can celebrate God, even while you're there, I mean, you're gonna miss the whole purpose
Yeah.
of it. And we don't want to miss that.
And I want to say this too, because my mind always looks at vantage points, and I'm always looking at what is it about this story, or what is about this lesson that we often avoid or we don't pay attention to. And I love that you said what you said, because it triggered in my mind to look at this scenario again. A lot of times we fail to realize that if we would just use our voice, if
Mm,
we would ask, because the truth of the matter is the dad made one coat, but he was never asked to make another. And a lot of times we want the door, the gift that was given to one, instead of just doing what all of them should have did. If you like it, say, hey, is it possible for me to have one? You see what I'm saying? We
Uh-huh.
we we put more energy into trying to, make a downfall or a pit for somebody else when you could do the work. I tell people all the time, folks say, oh my goodness, I wish, I could work with that person, or I could, go and travel and do, this, that, and the other. And I tell people all the time, who told you you couldn't?
Yeah. Right.
Because the real question you should be asking is, what do I need to do in order to position myself to receive this same blessing? And a
Mm.
lot of times, people, and I remember the weekend I spent in Dallas, working. We did the stuff, the work, according to Gaye Arbuckle. And I watched how, hold on, let's get you back.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
I watched how you worked and in and out, because I was documenting what you were doing. A lot of people see you walk out for 15 minutes on Sunday or on these opportunities that you've been afforded. But I watched you in rehearsal. I watch you prep for rehearsal. I watch you study the music, study and get with the musicians. I saw you get with Pastor to see what the sermon was. I saw you, just take some time to get yourself prepared to deal with people that you needed to work with in order to get the bigger picture and
Yeah.
the bigger project handled. Now, see, I love the fact that people show the graphic of the iceberg. People see a tip and they don't see the mass that's underneath the surface.
Mm.
What would you say? Because I know somebody's watching right now, and they could be a singer, they could be a writer, they could be anything artistic, they could even be in business. For you to prepare that way, because like I said, to me, and this is how I interpreted what you said earlier, the stage is your life 24/7. It's not just when people pay attention.
Right, right.
So to be effective on the stage of life, what are some things that you find have been mainstays or cornerstones in your life?
Woo. You know, my relationship with the Lord, first of all. And then I keep people around me who don't that when I mess up, when it's a bad thing, they really get me straight. Like, I'm just not gonna put up with your foolishness. And then for me to accept it, because we got to really be careful who speaks in our life too. And then I had to learn the hard way that sometimes friends are not in your life forever; they're just a season. And I had to understand that instead of being hurt all the time. Like, well, what happened? Uh,
Yeah.
Between those moments of hurt, those moments of confusion, those moments of disappointments, I have learned in all of those things. And you're right, being on stage, I'm on 24/7. If I'm at the store, somebody may, if I'm at wherever I am, they may, and I've got to be on. So when I came home, that was my time to just turn it off. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I just want to be gay. I don't want to be minister music. I don't want to be any of those things. And I thank God for the opportunity. That's a blessing. But sometimes you just have those moments like, I'm mad. The word says, "Be angry, but sin not." Today I'm mad. Today I'm just not having a good day. So please don't come this way. But those moments also show me that even though I may be in a real funky mood, somebody needs prayer, and I got to snap out of it because I'm like, now I got to encourage them, and it don't
Yeah.
always feel good. My kids need something, and I'm like, I'm turned off for the day. It don't feel good, but I thank God that He still has somebody's out there praying for me even now. I have people
Yeah.
that surround me that hold me up, that appreciate not just what I do, but they appreciate me as a friend. They appreciate me for just who I am. Even in my mess ups, they appreciate me. So I think getting prepared and getting ready for this, you got to know when you go in, it's not going to be easy. You're not going to just fly through it, and it's going to be just pillows and strawberries and snow cones. It's not going to be that. It's going to be some pitfalls. But in those pitfalls, low, you do grow.
Yeah.
You grow. You learn how to love people who really are unlovable. Because what I've learned too, some of the people that call themselves either even hurting me or doing something that I felt like that was really foul, I found out why. Because they hurt.
Yeah.
So now I really can't be just super, super mad because I'm like, okay, now Lord, now what you telling me to do in this? There's just a higher call. Too much is given, much is required. And I've
Right.
always known that there are certain people that can get away with stuff I can't get away with. He
Yeah.
just he just won't let me. So then I use that in ministry. So when it's time for me to sing, sometimes I've sung in my hurt. Sometimes I've spoken to people in my hurt. Sometimes I've hugged people in my hurt. But the Lord always seems to send somebody around to encourage me. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you just don't know. I'm broken down. And they go, you know what? I just want to tell you today you really did this. Or someone will send me something on social media that will uplift me. So even when I'm down, I hear somebody else is out. They got put out their house. It's like you always come back. Like, now wait a minute, it could be worse. So what you think your worst is somebody's blessing. So I thank God that even in that time of prep, that He didn't give up on me. He did not stop. It just, as they say, it just made me go harder in the paint.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, I love that because let's just to give these recaps. Your relationship with God, having accountability for certain, and I'm gonna sprinkle this one in because what I heard was actually having discipline to
Mm,
control your really makes a difference in your development and grow. Mina started gardening last year, and it's amazing to me because my mom's family was my grandfather was very agricultural. So I learned a lot about the process of growth and seeds and things of that nature. But you know Mina recently, like I said, last year was starting gardening, and it's amazing to me how the front of our home became transformed. Like every day I left like the house, I felt like I was in another place because there was so much life going on. Like
mhm.
this plant would be another 5 inches, or this plant would start to bloom, and these things. And I realized like the beauty of a garden is because every seed is focused on its own process.
Mm,
Everybody's growing at their own pace, at their own rate. But
yeah.
when we all come together, what was created was just a group of life. And I think, that's what a lot of times we don't give enough attention and credit to, is there is something beautiful about accountability.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, even though you bury a seed, it now becomes a responsibility of the soil, right?
Mhm.
So expect the soil to do what soil is meant to do. You protect it. You don't allow the birds or the creatures to steal
Right.
it. Incubate this thing. You nurture it to the point that it's going to outgrow you, right? But you're still connected,
Right.
even though you're the one doing all the process in private. Nobody looks through soil. Nobody sees what goes on beneath soil, but soil is good by the fruits that come out of it.
Right.
And a lot of times, a lot of us don't want to be the soil. Some of us are meant to, and I had to understand this in my own journey. I'm a catalyst for people. I'm good soil. I
Yeah.
know that people can be planted in my life, and in that I can nurture them. I can give them the tools they need to sprout and grow. Now, what you do on the other side of me and people like me, is simply up to those seeds, because once it's above ground, once the soil has done what it is meant to do, I gave you everything you needed to grow.
Yeah.
Now you can tend to grow towards the thing that's going to give you life, sunlight, things that are positive, things that feed us. Or
Yeah.
if you stay in the shade too much, shade, see what I'm saying? You lose out on the
Right.
things that feed you. And a lot of times people say, I'm in a I was doing so well, like people was fooling with me, and then all of a sudden, like everything stopped because you started growing the wrong way. You were growing towards things that were not giving you what you needed to keep growing. And I love that you know, these analogies, because sometimes we don't stop and think about these things unless we have these kind of conversations. And you're doing I know I'm segueing, but you're doing a lot of new things. You just made a couple life changes, and going into these new growth patterns, you know, what are you wanting to see for yourself in the next stretch of 5 years? What's the new mission and mark for Gaye Arbuckle?
You know, I first of all, I want to follow what the Lord wants me to do. I have a friend, and sometimes we talk about what's our purpose, what's our goal, and sitting and thinking for me, um, I want to pursue. I really like helping other praise team members, other praise teams, churches, minister musics. I really want to do that, but I really want to empower people to move in what they've been called to do. So I can't tell them what their purpose is. I may feel like I know, it's like you're very good at this, but that may not be it. But
Yeah,
I really like to empower them to at least just put one foot in front of the other. Just that's been my whole thing. Just try it. Even if you fail, at least you tried it. So for me, in helping assist other teams or churches with praising vocal training, not just the church. I'm talking
yeah,
about going outside in the secular world, presentations for vocalists. Again, not just the church, because this world is big. And
yeah,
even though I would tell the team, we're safe in the church because we know the people and this is what we do. But the ministry, it starts outside those doors
yeah,
when we can go out and meet the need and really bring people forth. And they may not ever come to church. You may just be just who that is. So for me, I want to really empower people to step into their missions, to step into helping the homeless, if that's your calling, to help
yeah,
those who are less fortunate, and just be a positive mark, like a great influence in their lives to help them move forward. I probably can't do it up. Maybe like you was talking about the seeds. Maybe I can plant the seeds. Somebody else put the water in there. Somebody else comes and it begins to grow. But at least push somebody to where they're feeling where God is calling them to be. I'm telling you, it's like in anything. If you just start, it's like
yeah,
working out. If you just get up and put your clothes on, that's a start. Okay, maybe the next day you put your clothes on and you walk to the door. All right.
mhm,
The next day you walk to the door, you open it, and it's like it's baby steps, but at least it's that. So, for me, I would love to travel and not just here in the States, out of the country, help people, as far as their music abilities, to help them to even gear them in what their passion is, and just kind of hear where they are to help them to push. I mean, at this time now where we're in this COVID-19, people mentally are like drained. People
yeah.
like, what do I do next? How do I get to the next place? They just need some encouraging words. And if I could do that to just help them get to that place, I would love to do that.
I love that. I love that. Now, as we gonna wrap up here soon. I hate, man. We could do this all night.
Right.
But I really want people to know, like, how can they contact and get in touch with you? Like, what are some of your, like, what do you prefer people to do in that regard?
To contact me, you can hit me up on social media, Gaye Arbuckle, Facebook and Instagram. The GY Arbuckle, I believe. And then my email, gay@gayarbuckle.com. Yeah,
Okay.
reach out.
Now, I love it. I love it because I know somebody watching this is gonna want to take you up on that. And if you don't know, I know I ain't have you sing tonight, but you have videos all over. You can. It's not hard to find Gaye singing online. Check that out. You definitely want to hear her voice. But I also, because I teased it earlier, I know the circumstances were not ideal, but I think you were probably one of the best fitted people to sing at that event that happened where I believe President Bush was there and his wife, President Obama was also in attendance.
And
And
now President Biden.
now President Biden. Yes, that is correct. You had three sitting there. And what made it so awesome was that um, First Lady Michelle was so captivated. When you look at the video, she literally turns and it's just you see her worshiping right along with you. And for you, like that moment, what was it like for you to get that call to say,
This is
"Come
it.
on, like,
Yeah, okay.
yeah,
So let me start here. I used to sit in my office and watch videos on different people singing at the White House. So this is why I say, and I'll be quick because I know you got to go. Dreams really do come true. Don't stop dreaming. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're in your 40s, 50s, 30s. It doesn't matter. Keep dreaming. I would watch videos on them having different concert stuff at the White House. I was like, Lord, I really would love to sing for the president. I really, really would love to sing. And
yeah,
so it was right at that last time where he was about it was his 4 years was up and then he won again. I went, good, I got another chance to try to make it. And pastor called and he said, hey, we need to get together because unfortunately, those officers lost their lives. But I thought about this. I said, now the Lord gave me that opportunity to do it. And I went, okay, now, Lord, what do you want me to do? I wasn't going to even lead. I called the guy and said, hey, listen, I'm going to lead the song. He's like, okay, good. Because even we had rehearsal, they had security there. You couldn't just
yeah,
kind of walk around like you wanted to. And when I finally said that, I realized, I said, God, you did it.
yeah,
Only God did that. So to anybody out there that is dreaming about what they want to do, don't stop. It may not come in 3 months, it may not come in 3 years, but hold on to your dream. I'm telling you, God, He hears us. But you got to stick to it though. Don't stick to well in 2 years, so I'm done. Hold on to it. Hold on.
yeah. And be ready to take the stage when it's time.
That's
Because
it.
you never know
Oh,
when your time is gonna be called. And that's the thing about the whole, like I love about all of it is that moment, all the videos, mentally being prepared, staying like you saying, staying in, ready, saying
yeah.
even though it didn't come today, it didn't come yesterday, whatever the case, it can still come tomorrow. And we gonna, yeah, it can still come tomorrow.
Right.
It can still be
Right.
whatever time it is. I'll be ready. And I love that. Now,
My wait a minute. Here's my last thing. My friend always say, "Stay ready, so you ain't got to get ready."
you ain't got to get ready.
Right.
I know, right? That's how I feel. Now, I like to end every broadcast on a light note, on something positive. So I'm gonna start out by asking you a few questions. Now you don't know what I'm gonna ask,
I
but
know.
well, we gonna get to it. All right. So are you ready?
No.
Well, good. All right. I'm gonna start out. Let's start out light. What was the last thing you read? What was the last book you read?
Thanks. This book by Michelle. Thanks.
By
I don't.
Michelle.
Yeah, L. Michelle Smith. It's called Thanks, I'll Do It My Way. I think that's what it's called.
Okay. Now, what was the last thing you ate?
Oh, I just had some barbecue, ribs, and pork chops and chicken.
Oh, you ate good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right. So, who was the last person you hugged?
Last year,
I was about to say that was a trick question.
wait a minute, now, who came and secretly hugged me, and I was already in, and I was like, "Oh Lord, touch."
That was definitely a trick question. All right. Now I'm gonna ask you this one. The what song is getting the most play in your rotation right now, your iTunes or your music player?
Raise a Hallelujah by Bethel.
Wait, by who?
By Bethel.
By Bethel or Bethel Music?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ways of Hallelujah.
Raise a hallelujah.
Ways of Hallelujah. Gotcha.
No, not
Uh,
raise a hallelujah.
oh, okay. Got you. Got you.
You're trying to give me
You
the
know,
same, but go ahead.
I was about to say, what's your favorite chorus part of the song? Chorus, verse, what?
Uh, Raise a hallelujah in the presence of my enemy. I'm gonna sing in the middle of a storm, higher and higher. Gonna hear my praises roar. That's it. Up from the ashes.
Oh, okay. So it's like a medley type, or is it more up tempo?
It is kind of up tempo, but the chorus is I'm gonna sing in the middle of a storm, higher and higher. Gonna hear my praises roar. Up from the ashes, praise will arise. The devil is death is defeated. The king is alive.
Oh, I like the lyrics. That's awesome. I had to check that out.
Yeah.
Now, what was the last thing you watched on Netflix or TV in general? What
Uh,
have you?
coming coming to America. I just
I
saw
love.
that.
Okay. And I gotta give you one final hard one. Um, what's something my viewers will want to know? Oh, this is a good one. Who do you find influencing you the most? Who's your favorite influencer online right now?
Oh, Bishop Bronner out of Atlanta.
Okay, now you got to tell me. You got to tell him why. Why is he
He
one of your favorite influencers
well,
right now?
back in March when I got back from Israel, somebody hooked me on to him, and
Yeah.
he's pastor in a bishop in Atlanta, and he's a very smart, articulate man, and he has great one-liners, and he expounds on the word so gracefully. So he's been that for a while. I always try to hear him speak.
All right. Since you said that, I'm gonna give you one bonus question. What's your favorite quote of all times? Because if you like articulation, if you like, and clearly you love lyrics, so what's your favorite quote of all time, or your favorite quote in general? One of your favorite.
Can you count scripture?
You can what
Okay.
anything. Yeah.
So mine is eyes have not seen, ears have not heard the things that God has prepared for those who really love him.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now I want to say how much I appreciate you being on the podcast today. You have officially had your first episode on the world according to Low. Man,
Yes.
I tell people all the time, I've been very blessed to meet some incredible people in my walk of life. I know I need about 70 more years on this earth, but when I when my time comes, I can definitely say that I have been blessed and highly favored to meet some awesome people. My life story has been a beautiful thing, and we're still writing it, of course, but for people like yourself, I really appreciate you being 100 every time I interact with you. Is never anything different. If
No.
it if it's I talked to you recently, or if I talk to you ain't talked to you in months, it's still the same. And authentic people are treasures in today's time. So look, I want y'all to make sure y'all go check out Gaye Arbuckle. If you want solid content, if you want solid wisdom, if you just want to have more solid people in your life, make sure you stay connected to her. We
Oh,
gotta get we gotta get you your own podcast.
I receive it.
Because I'm telling you, you can do this. You all the stuff you talk about, and we gotta. I'm all about You know this. I'm all about great people creating content because it's like the libraries, and I say this: libraries have changed. People aren't reading books. People are reading people.
Mm.
So you have something to say and things that people can learn from. So with that being said, be an open book and have a show.
Well, does a prayer line count?
No,
That does. Okay.
that that has a different. That's a different outlet. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
You got a
Because and the reason I say that is this: that is a segment where it's more about people sacrificing themselves and tapping into something greater than what we are. I suggest that you start being the resource, the human resource that is tapped in, but that people can have conversations with or interactions with to extract the stuff like we talked tonight. So that gives you a little more um roadway into addressing things that people, like I said, need to learn: that discipline, that accountability, how to develop a group that will hold you accountable, how to allow yourself to be in a position where you can be held accountable. I can do this all night.
right.
All of these things are topics and discussions that people need to have and that
Yeah.
you should be able to give. So I need y'all to make sure y'all go follow her so she'll have a group of folks. She already got a group, but I want my folks over there learning so we can all grow together and we can continue on this thing. And you can have the world according to you, but this is the world according to Low. And we get ready to get up out of here. Until next time, man. I'm gonna let y'all go. Y'all say, tell them bye before we go, boss lady.
Bye bye. Thank you for coming in. I love you, Lo. You already know that.
Yeah, man. We gonna keep it going. I'm gonna have you back. So we
Okay.
gotta continue, and we gonna take it to the next step. But hey, I appreciate y'all. Share this to somebody who needs to learn and listen and grow. And we gonna get out of here. Peace.